Once all the parts had come in and I had unboxed them, then I started to do small tests of this electronics, because this is the crucial part. If this part does not work, the whole machine will go into fail. We'll get into the detailed part of the electronics in another video. But for now, the first part of the machine is the base, and that's what we are building in this video. Not to mention, the base is not the stand of the machine. The stand is something different. So this is how I wanted the base to look like, but to assemble all these joints of these aluminum parts together, we first need to make these L brackets. This was just a long piece of L-shaped angled aluminum extrusion that I had cut into 1 inch and then deburred them with a file and then drilled holes by making some measurements, which do not need to be perfect as long as they do not disturb the proper functioning of the base. So I went with the 3mm drill bit because the screws that I'm using are 3.5mm. So I used the 3mm drill bit for the 3.5mm screws because the screws need to have a tight fit into these holes. So if you use the same size of drill bit for 3.5mm screws, then they're just going to loosely fit in, and you really don't want that for the base. Then I went with a file, deburred it again, and just to make sure that I don't cut myself on the first day of the build of the CNC. And now for the exciting part. I rearranged all these aluminum extrusions for the base and counted the number of these L brackets or these joints that I need to make, and lucky for me, I had just the right amount. Then I used the bracket for the particular joint and marked the orientation of these brackets since I had already drilled holes on them, and also named and labeled each of these brackets with respect to their joints so that I don't mix or mess up the whole base. Then I punched each of these holes that I had worked with respect to the specific L brackets of the joint, and then drilled these holes with this 3mm drill bit again. Did break 3 drill bits in just 1 day of first day of this build, because the machine is really big and you have this small drill bit, so you really need to make sure you use a small drill bit for a smaller machine. The machine is going to just overpower the drill, and small deviations in drilling are going to break your drills. So that's just a small advice. Then I used these screws, 3mm screws that I had. The heights for these screws change in some places, but as long as they are 3mm in diameter, that is okay.